direction. A couple messages for the viewers, so pick a section, have a seat. Yeah, I know this is different. Quit with the questions. Allow me a second, please, to make my first impression.
YouTube, welcome back to another Pounds 978 Customs video. And right now, I want to show you Venom, inspired by the movie coming out next month. I'm very excited. I know a bunch of people are excited. At first, a lot of people were worried, including myself. They didn't show any of the symbiote, but as time progressed and more trailers came out, we did see the symbiote, and he looks amazing. He doesn't have his iconic Spider-Man logo in the center. Spider-Man isn't in the movie, supposedly, so, you know, they had to switch the origin up a little bit. And I'm okay with that because they are still sticking with some of the comic book storylines. Tom Hardy is a fairly decent actor, and so I have confidence that he'll do a great job as Venom. Or Eddie Brock. And Eddie Brock, actually. Excited about the movie because it's going to have a bunch of symbiotes. Riot, Agony, Phage, Lasher, Scream, hopefully, and then rumors of Carnage at the very end. I hope we don't see him until the very end. Carnage needs his own origin movie as well. He's just too much of a popular character to sneak him in at the very end. I don't know if Hasbro's going to make a movie Venom, so I wanted to give it a shot and try to make one myself. I do have a bunch of heads with him, though. Some I sculpted, or I resculpted, and then others were from the Venom Select, but it's better if I show you. The 3 heads on the far left are from the Monster Build-A-Figure Venom Wave. I just took 2 of the heads and resculpted it, and then the other 4 are from the Venom Select. The one in the dead center is a recast of one of the Venom Select heads. I felt like in order to use this Build-A-Figure as a movie Venom, you would need to resculpt the head to give it a more accurate movie look. And I tried my best, honestly. This was my 3rd attempt and final attempt because I'm not making any more. And it's actually my favorite head of the bunch. I tried to recreate that smile like a turd in the wind look. And that was my favorite part in the trailer so far because he looked genuinely happy but sick. Like, I wouldn't know how to take a threat like that. Grabbed an extra Monster Venom head and I decided to take it apart. It's easy, just heat it up, 3 parts, top of the mouth, tongue, and the bottom of the jaw. Then I sculpted around the eyes to make it bigger and under the eyes to kind of close it up. The one on the left is the one I'm working on. The one on the right I did before. We'll get to that. And then I wanted to sculpt the teeth individually. Here I have this 5-part tooth connection. I can't explain it, but it's one piece. But I didn't like the way it looked. And so I decided to just go for it one by one, sculpting each tooth top to bottom, making sure they crossed and touched to a degree. Not all touch. And I just wanted to make sure every tooth was defined and went in its own direction and it wasn't restricted or just didn't look compressed and pressed in. So I tried to give it some volume. Rolled up some sculpt and made tiny little balls. Then with those tiny balls I made sharp points, placed them over the sides of the mouth, and then cut out what I didn't need and blended the rest of the sculpt inside with the face. Once I was done with that, I did not want to risk breaking any teeth. Also noticing I needed a lip, so I sculpted the top of the lip to kind of secure some of the teeth also with the sculpt and give it the look where his face is kind of retracting, exposing that sinister grin. Bottom lip also. Then once that was done, all that was left was to paint. I was excited to try to paint as fast as I could and see what it would look like. I wasn't too happy with the teeth here. I'm still not, but they look good enough. Like a turd in the wind. My favorite head, it was kind of difficult to make. Just took steps and layers. So be patient if you decide to give it a go. But it is just like the Monster Venom head, just closed up and sculpted. And then my second favorite head, which was my favorite head before the one you just saw. This also was a modification of the Monster Build-A-Figure head. I sculpted the eyes differently here. I wanted them to look more sleek and mean, like angry, and you don't want to mess with this Venom right here. And I also wanted to redo the teeth. I did not. I just repainted them a bit. I just copped out and sloppily painted the teeth, where that's why I kind of made another head, because I wanted to reshape the teeth. And while I was at it, I just did the eyes differently purposely because I wanted to just give them different looks. I posted a picture on Instagram with like 9 different heads, asking people which one they thought looked best. I liked them all, but if I had to do one, 5 absolutely was my favorite. But other people picked other ones, and so I made this one to kind of resemble 3 and 6. And if you really ask me, I don't think they're that accurate. I think they're like 80%, maybe 70%. But just like the other head, you take the Venom head apart, 3 pieces, top, middle, bottom. Close it up, resculpt the jaw to make sure it's securely closed. Maybe want to add a little super glue first and then resculpt around it. Then I closed off the eyes a little bit to give them that smiling grin with the, the sharp eyes. So I closed off the top as well. And I really liked how this came out. But for some reason I couldn't get over the teeth. It was too sloppy, and I just couldn't get in there right to make it neat. And so I wanted to resculpt over this face as well. But I didn't want to go through all the trouble, so I left it. Moving on to another head. This one is the Monster Build-A-Figure head. Not modified at all. This just comes straight from factory, just repainted to match the figure. I wondered if I should have put veins on one of the heads, but I don't recall seeing veins on Venom's head in the movie. But I could be wrong. I like this head also. It looks good. It looks close enough to be Venom from the movie, just the teeth aren't long enough. And the eyes are shaped sort of differently. But I'm not mad at it. I think it works really well. One thing about these 3 heads versus these other heads I have here are the way they are drilled and the way they sit on this figure. This head is drilled like a normal head from the bottom. So it sits at the very top of his head, making it look a little small. Well, it's small anyway, honestly, but it makes it look a little funny. Where the Monster Build-A-Figure heads are drilled at the back, so they just pop right in and they kind of lose the neck. This gives you a little neck, so it looks like you have more neck and a smaller head. But for some reason, I think it works as well. This head I did sculpt. It was a cast from a Venom Select head, and I just decided to resculpt. This was my first attempt at the Turd in the Wind look. I bought a recast head from somewhere and decided to sculpt over it to make the head a little bigger because I knew it was small. And so I tried to make it a little bigger. Then I sculpted some eyes and some teeth inside, but you see the little lapping over the eyes. It's because I wanted to make the head even bigger, and I didn't want the eyes to protrude out. I wanted them to sink in his face, and so I added, sculpt around the eyes and around the jaw, just to thicken it up a little bit. I honestly thought it was thick enough or round enough to fit the Venom head. Here's some more details on his lines on his mouth opening. And I thought it looked good. For me, it still looks okay, but in a way, I think it's just a tad bit too small. And just has a resemblance of a piranha, like a fish mouth. Now, as stupid as this is going to sound, I feel like this head fits better on this body. Even though they're the same exact head, one's recasted with extra sculpt, so you'd figure it'd be a little bigger. But it isn't. This head looks bigger for some reason. I feel like the casted head was shrunken down a bit, maybe to fit a legend scale, because that's the only way this could be bigger. But it isn't too much bigger, so it doesn't look that great either. I'm not mad at it. I like this look in case you want to change looks for Venom. This is kind of the Mark Bagley, Todd McFarlane look. And this is another head from the Venom Select. So it looks okay. It looks a little detailed. The teeth don't really match up. And I didn't paint the teeth at all. All I did was just paint the black and give it a little fade of blue and gray to kind of just match up the figure. It looks a little small as well. Doesn't look bad, but I would not prefer to use this head at all. Nor this one. And this is the reason why I didn't add sculpt, because I wanted to add sculpt around the head just to make it a more Tom Hardy Venom. Because to be fair, this is the biggest head from the Select, and it does fit this head kind of. It looks proportionate when you turn it to the side. I feel like a head this big would fit this body, although the neck looks a little thin when it points up like that. But I don't know. That's the reason why I didn't paint it. I was going to color his hair brown and just give this a complete paint job, but I didn't. All I did was paint the blue shading over the black. Wasn't sure how to approach this custom, so at first I painted it all gloss black, followed by white for the veins, and then I shaded it a bit just to see what it would look like. The veins still were a bit too white. I feel like they showed too much and they connected too much, so I wanted to tone it down somehow. And I was worried, but I managed to kind of tone it down by adding some more shading around it and over it a bit. Someone brought it to my attention that the veins were too white, and so after looking at it again, he was right. A lot going on, I know, and even then I still feel like I'm not even done. I mentioned before that I wanted to extend his legs and raise them up by 1 inch. I feel like he's a little short and stocky, but it works. It works well enough because he is going to be the biggest figure amongst a lot of your legends, so he will pull off the movie Venom. But I may still either 1, extend his legs, or 2, create a whole new movie Venom with a different figure, because I got a whole new recipe coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited. Can't wait to see the movie. I don't want to have too many hopes for it or high hopes because I don't want to be let down. You guys may disagree with this statement, but I think Spider-Man Homecoming was terrible. Like, just straight... No, it wasn't terrible, but it was just a kid movie, man. And this movie looks a little more adult, more for my liking. And not only do I want to see it, I want to see it expand and grow and become something outside of the Spider-Man franchise. And then one day maybe even merge back with its baby Spider-Man, you know? Because, damn, Carnage is so powerful, too. I mean, just imagine. Maximum Carnage 2020. That would blow everybody's minds. But here are the heads that come with the figure. I may reduce them just to these 3. I like these 3 the best, the Monster Build-A-Figure Venom heads. And with the other heads, I may use for the other Venom that I was talking about previously. So, eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks. So many snacks, so little time. Oh my God. Wow. You want to see him next to another Spider-Man figure? Here we got the hybrid you just seen. And then Spider-Man, of course. But YouTube, this is it. Let me know what you guys think about this Monster Venom, aka the new movie Venom Custom. I'd appreciate the feedback down below. And if you subscribed already, you are the man. But if you haven't subscribed, you're the man too. Just not as cool as the other man that I just said before. But whatever.
If you choose to subscribe, you the man. Yes, you. Everyone below in the comments, yes, you too. Thank you very much for showing me love. Who knew? It's ironic how we think out the box for you too, right?